Hey, yo, salute to the people. It's the social forecast. Those of you just passing through, I invite you to stay a while. So like, comment, and subscribe. Kicking off 2019 with some fresh content. We're gonna keep this thing going and continue to try to build this platform. Now, I came across a story that happened earlier this week. A female by the name of Jasmine Eiland, who was allegedly sexually assaulted, allegedly raped, in the middle of a dance floor in a nightclub. Now, often big stories or hot topics like these come up and they go viral all over social media. A lot of people who have YouTube channels and other platforms, they jump on it, they talk about it, it goes viral, and that's cool. I've never had an issue with people who post different things and talk about different things and have content on their page that they know are going to get a lot of views. It's not what this platform or channel is about. It's not what this the message of this platform is meant for. Um, if you're a YouTuber and you're into making videos, you're into doing blogs, you got your channel out there. The purpose is to get views and to grow your channel and to get your subscriber base up, of course. But on this channel, it's about integrity. It's about a real message. It's about talking about things in situations where I have something to talk about. Sometimes it's laughy, it's jokey, it's entertainment, but there's usually always an underlying message or purpose for any of the content that you will find on this channel, right? And that has nothing to do with trolls or people who have differing opinions about why certain YouTubers do certain types of content. That's for me, right? This channel is going to be built, whether it's built slowly or whether it jumps up quickly over the next few months, in the next coming years. Um, it's going to be built on a platform that is based in integrity, right? It is what it is. It's not necessarily about posting news. It's just about getting information out there where it's necessary and having an underlying message, right? So I say that to say I don't typically post or do blogs on the viral type of things or the hot topics immediately. I like to follow it for a few days for a few reasons, like with the Chris Brown situation. I read about it the day it happened, um, on CNN, and chose not to talk about it because I knew shortly after we were going to get some clarification. And of course, we did. And, he ended up not being charged. And there's an impending investigation. And what will come of that will come of that. And I'm sure we'll hear about it. But with this alleged sexual assault or alleged rape in a nightclub, we live in a time when you really have to be, as a man, you really have to be careful. You can't say the wrong things to a female. Even if you're trying to um, meet someone, get to know them, maybe spark up some kind of connection with them, even the way that you go about approaching that, people want to tear you down, people want to throw shade, and people want to get you the fuck out of here. Basically, that's the time that we're living in this era of Me Too movement. All the celebrities who did things, questionable things, they're being brought to task now, rightfully so. In those situations. But the point of this blog, the point of this video is for my fellas. I'm so happy that I'm not uh, a young man anymore and out in the dating pool trying to find, someone to connect with, because y'all is brutal out here now. Like, it's crazy. Like, certain situations that could be meant to look crazy, and automatically as a man you're vilified. Now, I'm not saying that this woman was not sexually assaulted. I'm not saying she wasn't victimized, and I'm not putting anything on anybody who was victimized in situations like this, because of course we all know it's never a person's fault if they're raped or if they're forced to do something against their own will. That's not something that you play around with. My point, though, is that whenever something looks away, because perception can be, it doesn't take much for perception to become reality. Somebody looks at something, and especially in a nightclub and in a grainy video, it's easy to put things in different, you know, contexts and different aspects and say, oh, this clearly looks like this happened, and we don't know. And I was watching a video on YouTube where this gentleman who was accused was, I guess, being interviewed by this other YouTuber. He basically was saying, listen, I didn't do nothing to this woman. I'm a father. I have children. I have custody of my kids. I'm not out here acting crazy and doing, reckless shit in the street. This girl chose to be with me throughout the night. She was on stage doing this and that, um, twerking and being half naked after the so-called sexual assault. And that's all fine. If he wants to defend himself from his perspective, his point of view, it is what it is. Because at the end of the day, nobody watching a video knows really what happened. Um, in this situation, whoever was there and saw or didn't see, and the two people who were involved are the people who know what happened and what didn't. My only point is this: this is a cautionary blog. This is a cautionary video to all the fellas out there who are single, who are looking to mingle and, meet different women out and about. Y'all gotta be careful because even a fun night, even a situation that you don't think is gonna turn crazy, could turn crazy like instantly, right? You, because I ended the narrative a long time ago of men who are out here cheating and lying and leading double lives and being womanizers. That can all be true, but women are doing the same thing. And the narrative is that this woman has some kind of spat with her husband or ex-husband or whatever and was trying to get back at him by going out and interacting with whoever she could interact with. Don't know. That's just what's out there. But this is what people do. And you could be a single, innocent individual going out looking to have a good time. You never know the person that you're going to come across. And I'm not just talking about victims of sexual assault from the standpoint of trying to avoid predators. I'm talking about also those innocent people who become pawns in the situation and then end up being accused of shit or looking crazy. And I parallel this with the Chris Brown situation because, who knows what happened with him and this woman. And all of a sudden now he has rape charges against him, potential rape charges against him that were, luckily for him, dropped pretty quickly. And then it comes out that this woman was married and was trying to avoid some kind of situation with her husband. Look, I know personally from experience that women do this. I've had it happen to me where I've never been accused of, let me clarify that. But I've had women that I've been in relationships with, that I've been with, who do certain things, and when they get caught, or when those situations come out, they try to play the victim or they try to paint a scenario where they didn't really cheat, they were victimized, or they didn't really do this, they were taken advantage of. I'm not saying that that's the situation. I'm saying to all my young fellas out there, all my single fellas, older heads, whoever, be careful with who you meet. Like, it's time for us as men to protect ourselves. We live in a day and age when this Me Too movement, women are unified. They're sticking up for each other, even unfortunately in cases where um, the women who are being caped for are not deserving of that treatment. And the only people who end up looking bad in those situations, unfortunately, are the men. Even in cases where those men are later exonerated of having done anything wrong, those women are not then charged. Those women are not then dragged through the criminal justice system for false allegations. In the court of public opinion, even when charges are dropped, even when somebody appears to be vindicated and exonerated, the public still looks at them crazy as if they did something wrong. Because once you're accused of certain things, especially when those things are of a sexual nature, you're guilty no matter what truth comes out later. And that's just a fact. So this video, this message is to my fellas. I don't know this dude. I don't know him from anything. You know, he may or may not have done something wrong that he shouldn't have done. Not the purpose of this video, not the purpose of this blog. Purpose of this blog is for my fellas to take heed to situations like this that are increasingly happening. And when you are out and about and you meet someone, please do not trust anybody, first of all. Get to know somebody, connect with somebody. But before you take that relationship or that connection or situation to a physical level, be 100% sure about who you're dealing with. Because it's a shame, but it's almost like you have to have signed fucking consent nowadays, in order to make sure that you're covered in all situations. And I'm not in any way, shape, or form um, marginalizing or lessening sexual assault. The people who deal with that, it's a heinous crime, it's a heinous act. I'm just saying things are not always the way that they appear to be. Things are not always how people report them or make them out to be. So to my fellas, be careful. I try as much as I can to cape for all my fellow men because I know that all of us are not bad. I know that it's not the majority. I get a lot of flack from my people, even the people that I do different blogs